Let's talk a little football. And welcome to the Press Box. I'm so glad you can join us. And Michael Best did not get blown away by the hurricane, but
are you sure?
He's not with us today. All jokes aside, we're glad you're here, and just praying for those victims of the hurricane and the storm that traveled up through the state. I haven't seen anything like that. So we're talking about Jeff Davis County and Bacon County, Toombs, Lowndes County. We're
Adel, Cook County, Fitzgerald.
Thinking about you, praying for you, and hopefully again provide a little entertainment. Also, Asheville and in North Carolina, some flooding up there. So y'all praying folks out there, keep them in your prayers, and if you have a way to help them, please do.
Yep, absolutely. And say a little prayer of thanks that Thomasville and Thomas County did not get what we saw 40 miles east of here, because it could have easily happened.
It was headed our way, and it turned.
Cook County as well. Put Grady County in that as well. So we're grateful. We're grateful you're watching. So we'll get back to our goofy antics here and talk a little bit of football again. So Randy Young, Jim Rayburn, I'm Austin Reams, and again the weather is a big story again. So we'll go with Cairo. Cairo was winning, so they're still they're winning over Bainbridge 27-7, and they're going to finish that game October 7th, 5:30 p.m. at West Thomas Stadium. So that's a region game. This is how weird this is going to be, right? Region rivalry game, and
3 days after they play Leon.
Yeah, so they play Leon this Friday.
And they're 5 minutes. I think they've got 5 minutes left in the third quarter.
Yeah. So what a very odd. So what do you do if you're the coaching staff here? I don't really have any answers. I don't know. I mean, you play the next game, right? But what do you do?
You keep Brian Duncan healthy.
Yes, right. Keep number 4.
That's it.
Yep. That's the game plan. It's like a starting pitcher. Hey, we don't need you today.
Yeah.
Exactly
we finish this off with this.
Yeah.
The Teals.
Yeah, the Teals.
The Teals.
All the Teals.
Take it, but Brian. God bless you. You don't
I would be conservative.
Right,
against Leon, I think you may see a conservative game plan because again, you really want your guys healthy, not only for Bainbridge but for rest of the region play.
Yep.
This is where we've talked about all these programs how important depth is.
This would have been an open week for K-Ray.
Yeah.
But because of Wakulla pulling out on them, they had to change their schedule away. That's why and they picked up Leon.
Well, the good news for the syrup makers, Leon comes in 0-4.
Yeah.
They lost to whoever SJPII is, 18-6.
Yeah, St. John's, Paul the second.
They lost to Godby 59-7, Gainesville 14-7, and FWBHS, I'm not sure who that is, 28-7.
All right, let's talk about Thomas County Central. They lost to Lee County. That game was played Saturday. They lost 35-23, and they got veterans coming into town, but Lee County, good football team.
Very good.
I think you tip your cap to them.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, they were the better team on the field Saturday. They stuck to their game plan, did a good job implementing it. And these are two teams that are probably going to be making deep playoff runs. I mean, very evenly matched. And normally when you've got those types of teams playing, mistakes are going to dictate who wins and loses. We had 3 interceptions. Very uncharacteristic day for Jalen Johnson. One of them a pick 6. And, again, you just can't make those types of mistakes against a good team and expect to win, bottom line.
Well, to jump in there, too, and also I kind of like, this schedule change probably helps you with the playoffs where not everything is the same time on a Friday night. I think it's going to be to an advantage for Cairo, for you guys, just to kind of, you're going to be used to kind of not playing at the same way, same time.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some very uncharacteristic situations here based on what the circumstances are, which I totally get. This particular game, though, I think it's worth noting. This was a close football game at the half. It was 21-17. Drew Renault kicks a 51-yard field goal at the beginning of the first quarter, which set a school record for us, longest field goal we've ever had. And you're kind of thinking, and we're going to get the ball to start the second half, and under Justin Rogers, we've been a very, very good second half team. But we get the ball to start that third quarter and go 3 and out. And I felt like Jim watching an Ed Pilcher coach team. 3, 4, 5 yards at a pop.
Yeah.
They just methodically drove down the field. And I said it was like watching an iceberg move. I mean, it wasn't spectacular, but there was nothing we could do. They score. It's 28-17 now. We get the ball back, and you're thinking, okay, we're still in this, 3 and out. Yeah. And they get the ball again. They had 9 minutes of possession in that third quarter. We had about 3 minutes. Both teams had 2 possessions, but they scored on both of theirs and ate the clock up, and that's really where the ball game turned. I mean, it's 35-17 at that point. We scored a touchdown in the fourth quarter to get it a little bit closer, but surprisingly, Ousmane Kroma, the all-star running back, was not the story of the day. In fact, we held him to his lowest career total ever, 26 yards on 12 carries. Our defense really did a good job, but you've got so much attention on that guy. Weston Bryan, the big quarterback for them, who is a Tim Tebow clone. Last year against us, he was 6'3", about 220, which is a big kid.
Yeah.
He's 6'3", 245, their quarterback. And they snap the ball to him, and he gets going downhill, and he's a 4, 5, 6 yard guy to pop. I mean, got about 160 yards on us and scored 4 of the touchdowns. I mean, of their 35 points, 28 came from him, and the other 7 came from the pick 6. So just tip your cap to them. They now are in the driver's seat as far as the region is concerned, but there's a lot of football left to be played. They've got Coffee County still to play, which is a very, very good defensive team, and Houston County, which can score points on anybody. So we'll see what happens. It just, again, puts them in the position now of being in that driver's seat. And I want to do a real quick explanation for folks, if I can, real quick. We had a sequence in the second quarter, which was one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen in my life. Jalen Johnson, for us, we're moving the ball near midfield, and he rolls out to his right, looking downfield, and nobody there, and there's a central guy right in front of him, and he decides to try to do a little shovel pass to him. Well, in the process of doing that, he got hit from behind as the ball was being pushed. Now, it went forward, but Lee County picked the ball up and started running with it. The side judge blows a whistle, says incomplete pass. They meet, and the only reason I want to explain this is I've had dozens of people text me asking me to explain it, so just real quick. The officials meet up. The the side judge that had called the incomplete pass explains his case, and they call it an incomplete pass. They spot the ball, and we're about to go. Well, the head coach at Lee County was not satisfied with this. He comes onto the field and demands to talk to the side judge that made the call. It took 8 minutes to sort this out. In fact, the athletic director for Lee County came onto the field, talked to the officials. Mike Gammons comes off the sidelines. Mike's one of the head officials for the whole South Georgia area.
He's kind of an observer at this
point.
point.
He goes in there to try to help untangle the mess. Our athletic director.
Baby, it's going to be all right.
Oh, baby. That's right. It's okay, baby. But 8 minutes later, they decided that the whistle was an inadvertent whistle.
Okay.
Even though they had decided originally that it was an incomplete pass. So the play was eradicated. I mean, it's like the play never happened. But
we've had a problem with inadvertent whistles against Central also.
Hey.
Go back.
I know, but that one worked in our favor.
Yeah, but it didn't work in our favor.
But this one, though, it was almost like you had another quarter. And the whole game, every bit of momentum, everything was reset. And I'm not blaming the officials because it was one of those situations where I don't think anybody really knew what to do. But 8 minutes, that just broke the whole game as far as all the momentum was concerned.
Now, the story I heard was the referee, it wasn't a side judge, it was one way behind the play, inadvertently blew his whistle. And that was what the discussion was about because he was not near the play.
Yep.
That's what I...
And that's pretty much what happened. But he did see the play. I mean, when the kid picked the ball up and started running with it, that's when he blew the whistle. Now, whether or not it was inadvertent or not, but originally he explained he saw an incomplete pass. And the officiating crew, which you normally see them do when they kind of consult each other, they went along with it. But then they went back.
When zebras confer.
Nothing good happens.
Nothing good's going to happen for somebody.
Yeah, you're right.
And I do think, too, managing the game, like I'd rather have a quick decision rather than the right decision.
Yes.
That's what I hate about instant replay.
Yeah, it makes
something that you can look at one time on replay and know it, and it takes them 10 minutes.
Or if you don't know, then go with what's on the play.
And by no means am I saying that was a difference maker in the ball game, but it was just a very unusual sequence, and that's the explanation of what happened. Just so our fans have a good idea there. And Jim's right. The back judge, it was decided that it was an inadvertent whistle, but it was only after they had decided originally that it was an incomplete pass. So
made it even worse.
Anyway, but big win for Lee County, and now we get Veterans, another region game coming up, and it's homecoming, so hopefully we get things back on the right track.
And again, this talking about little playoffs, you come in with maybe homecoming can take the focus away, but maybe you can get right against veterans and get going on some region victories.
Yeah, it'll be
here.
interesting to see how we react. This is the first regular season loss we've had under Justin Rogers, first regular season loss since 2021. A lot of these kids in this program have never lost a game. So how we bounce back and how we react Friday, I think, will be a big step toward whatever we're going to do toward the end of the season and that momentum that we need heading into region play.
Veterans makes it easy to get your confidence back.
I am hoping so.
They do. Veterans will give you your confidence
Yeah,
back.
I am hoping. We need some confidence right now. So
Speaking of veterans, we've got a game at Veterans Memorial Stadium coming up.
Yes.
That's going to be, you got Worth coming into town, but let's talk about that victory over Jeff Davis. Another weird game on Wednesday, although I'm glad you guys got that.
Well, they've been to. If we had waited till Friday night, we wouldn't have got to play it, and that would have been 3 weeks since we played Central. So it was a good move to move it to Wednesday night. It was a great place to go to. It wasn't that bad of a drive, but Randy's talking about ball control. In the first half, we had the ball 3 times. They had it twice. We scored quickly in the first quarter. They took the ball and they huddled up. They ran either the single wing or the flex, and they took every play clock down to 10 seconds. And then they'd run to the line of scrimmage, snap the ball, and we had them stopped around our 30-yard line, and they lined up to punt. Well, the quarterback's a punter, and we left our defense left the defense on the field, and he rolled out and got outside and just threw a prayer up in the middle, and they caught it, and they went in and tied the game up 7-7. Our second possession, we drive it down. Our longest sustained drive, and kick a 42-yard field goal, and then they didn't have time enough left in the half on their second possession, so they really only have one possession. But then they get the ball to start the second half, and we begin to take control of it a little bit. And of course, all our scores were from 25 yards out. Cam had a 42-yard run he had 2 touchdowns. He had 120-something yards rushing and 55 passes. Didn't really have to throw the ball, and
he looks a lot more decisive on his zone.
When he pulls it, he's been doing a great job, and he's got some great blocks down the field. But and Levante, the first touchdown was a 30-yard run by Levante Cole, and then the last one was by Ant Anderson, a 25-yarder right up the middle. So all our scores were from way outside, but even when they're 2 scores behind, they never changed their tempo. They never got in any hurry.
Good.
It was just.
You were happy about that.
Well, the first half, we started at 7:30, went to halftime at 8:19. That's, 40, 49 minutes of play. Is all it was in the first half. Second half was a little longer, but it's still. We were out of there, and we were back home before 12 o'clock.
There you go. And I'm sure in the second half, y'all were going, continue to run that pace, please.
Like I said, they never got in any hurry. They just came to the line, ran their plays. They tried to throw it some, but
good.
Yeah, now you got the opposite. Now you're going to have Worth County, and that game's going to last till 1:30
that game, I hope we need
p.m.
to start at 5 o'clock.
They throw it all over the place.
They're going to throw it on every down almost. Yeah. So, but the Rams are coming to town, and we're going to get to finish our homecoming. We lost our homecoming with Bacon County, so they had the homecoming dance that Saturday night, but the Queen has not been revealed.
Nobody knows, right?
Oh, okay, so y'all going to do that this week. That's awesome.
And plus, we got the 50th anniversary of the '74 national champion. We got those. But that was supposed to be done at halftime, so I don't know. I'll leave that to the powers that be to work all that out. But homecoming's got to be taken care of first.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes.
All right. It's about the kids.
Right.
Absolutely.
All right. So Lowndes, 6A got moved. Everybody kind of got moved a week. So we still have Lowndes at Colquitt. So obviously a huge region game for Colquitt County, and we've talked about it some last week. So fascinated about that game. To me, it'll tell you a lot.
Big test for Lowndes County.
Yeah.
To see if they're for real. Yeah, they're undefeated. Let's see if they're for real.
It's probably their first real test.
Right.
They're I always call it out of conference, but it's not really out of conference.
No.
But they're non-region scheduling.
They're preseason schedule.
Yeah, preseason.
But and good to see Colquitt kind of growing up a little bit. So this is going to be kind of a fun game to see how that squares itself up. And
but give Lowndes credit now, based on what we saw when we played them in our preseason scrimmage, they clearly have improved a lot. And as we've talked about here, you can't put a whole lot of bank
Yeah,
into a
scrimmage.
Some
scrimmage
coaches
game.
use different scrimmage for different
Yeah,
things.
absolutely.
You can't, they want to get everybody in the ball game.
And
So-
try stuff they may not try during the season just to see how it
and
goes.
they're not going to show too much either.
Yeah.
Which is good coaching. But anyway, that's an intriguing matchup there.
Yeah, and how do you think, just kind of moving on, we're talking about Lowndes and Valdosta and some of the Valdosta teams and all this kind of disruption with the hurricane. Like, how do you, we've thought about a little bit for Cairo, any kind of ideas on just kind of getting your team ready? And, there's so much of game film these kids do now and prep and all that. A lot of disruption. What do you do if you're a coach? What do you think, Jim?
Well, coaches like,
Yeah, they love routine.
they like
So
it.
This is not what
This
that
is, we're doing this at this time, today is this, today is that. Well, before the Jeff Davis game, Coach DeLay and his staff realized the weather was coming, and it probably wouldn't be played on Friday. So they moved up everything from Sunday to Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, just move some
and
days
it
up.
just moved the days up. Now you've had an extra. Of course, they didn't practice Thursday and Friday because of the weather. So, but they reported back in Sunday afternoon, and so they're back on schedule for this week. But I don't know how, like Lowndes County and Valdosta, I don't even know how you can get your kids together to practice.
Yeah.
Especially Lowndes, because they
right.
are all over
Yeah,
the place.
right.
Valdosta's at least in the city, but
But the
Lowndes.
city's the worst torn up.
Yeah, right. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. And how do you ask kids who are trying to figure out where they're going to get food from?
Well, they get food. Probably the
schools would probably help.
the football
Probably figure
programs
Yeah.
will provide food for the players. So
Yeah.
that's one good thing about most programs nowadays.
Yeah. Well, and thinking about those programs and just hoping it goes well, and hopefully football can be a rally point where community can. Obviously, there's a lot of pride about football in this community. So,
Well, it
all
does
the
need to be
best.
said now. Again, I don't know how this will end up, but we were talking about it earlier. The Georgia High School Association has proposed, they still haven't voted on it yet, moving the playoffs up a week to fill in that open date that everybody was going to have during
Well, I was
Thanksgiving.
told earlier that some chlorine factory in North Georgia blew up and was on fire.
Yep,
And
Conyers, I saw
and they've
that.
had to evacuate, and people's had to stay in house. So there's going to be some games up there that's going to be affected this weekend.
And maybe that'll get their attention.
Yeah.
It might, because it's affecting Gwinnett County.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, down here it's like, well, they'll be all right. Okay, wait, that's right here? Well, maybe we need to do
Okay.
something. So anyway,
right.
that's been proposed, so that's something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, a couple other games in South Georgia. So Pelham is open this week. They're prepping for Mitchell County
Man, that's
next
gonna be a
week.
good one.
So
That's
can't
gonna be a
wait
good
to
one.
hear about that one. And then Mitchell County travels to Terrell County. I don't believe single A, any of those things got moved, I don't think. Or
Not in
as
that,
far as I can
not
tell.
in that side, because all
Yeah.
that's over Early County, Mitchell County, and all there. Most of theirs got played.
The western side.
But that
kinda
other
got-
side-
I was
then.
shocked when Friday night, when Michael said they were stopped in a lightning delay, and then my wife texted me and said it was storming.
Yeah.
Man, Wednesday night we got some rain now. But,
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, it's
We had 5 inches Wednesday
yeah.
night,
At least again, those games that were scheduled, most of them at least got to get started. So.
but we
Yeah.
didn't have any at Jeff Davis.
Yeah. Okay.
And so weird. So Brookwood's game got canceled versus SGA. So they have Deerfield coming to town for homecoming. So
Deerfield for homecoming?
Yep. Deerfield's good ball club.
I
so.
know, you don't usually pick a Deerfield for homecoming.
Nope, no, normally don't. And,
You did
they're-
that.
They're pretty good. That was not me. That was not me.
He was on the homecoming committee.
I
That
know,
decided that.
that's right. We're going to take a break, and we will come back with the college edition of the Press Box. All right, and we're back. We're going to talk a little college football. Not much to say with FSU, so they.
That didn't take long.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, there's really not much to cover. They're playing very bad, and you should set those expectations accordingly. And you shouldn't be surprised when a bad team plays bad. They're bad at football. Lost to SMU. It's only going to get worse because they play Clemson this week. Thank you, ESPN, for putting that on prime time. But I don't. There's when you're so bad, there's really not a whole lot you can say. They've got to get better everywhere.
Yeah.
So I don't really want to waste too much time talking about them.
Well, you made a point during the break I think is very valid. Normally, when you've got a situation where a team is struggling, you can go.
You can point it out.
Here's the problem. You got problems on the offensive line, or you got problems on the the linebackers. This is across the board. I mean, there isn't one part of Florida State's team right now that is playing at even a decent level, much less an elite level, and that's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what you do.
Yeah, you can't really.
Got to get really creative, I think. They're going to have to just throw caution to the wind and try some really stuff that folks are going to go, wait a minute, where'd that come from? I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Roll the dice on some stuff.
But even just kind of, pass blocking protection schemes and just breakdowns on 3rd and long, kind of stuff like that. To me, good coaching is fixing some of these things. So that's really what I don't really care about the score, but I just want to see us fix some things. Are we going to pick up some blitzes? Are we going to get off the field 3rd and long? Those types of things.
Not this week.
Yeah, I mean, even with the score, and by the way, we did that when we had way worse personnel in 2020. I mean, we would kind of find ways to. We were way worse, and the score was way worse, and we did it then.
Just play with some fire. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just play with some fire. If you're going down, go down swinging, and that's one of the things that hasn't felt like with FSU.
To me, on defense, it looks like 11 people just out there playing
going through
their
motions.
Own little.
Yep.
Instead of playing team defense.
Yeah, you got 11 islands.
I will defend the defense a little bit. I think when your offense is as putrid as ours is, it's really tough to go out there and put your body on the line. I mean, you start looking at yards per play.
I have not. I had an aunt that everything was putrid.
Good word.
And I have not heard that word since she passed away.
Well, we got to bring it back. When you start looking at yards per play and yards after catch, I mean, I'm talking about like 5th grade teams don't do this.
The only time I ever heard that using my granddaddy, whenever you'd smell a dead animal on the side of the road. So I guess that's appropriate.
There we go.
There we go. It fits.
So let's go on to competent football teams, and let's talk about Georgia. And I think obviously lost to Alabama, and Ryan Williams with that great catch, and that Bama fans are going to talk about forever. But to me, and I'll say this too, I thought this, but I also got this from Split Zone Duo, a podcast I listened to. They kind of felt like Bama wins the game. Kudos to Bama. It looks like, to me, Georgia is maybe poised to get better than Bama. In the fact that Bama won the game, no doubt about it, and they deserved it. Great win by them, no doubt about it. But to me, Georgia was kind of playing within themselves where, like, you've only got so many shot plays that you can have if you're an offense.
I just got tickled at Michael and some of them on Facebook that Beck is not the quarterback they thought he was.
No, he's not a Heisman contender anymore. And again, no quarterback. Joe Montana didn't like pressure, when you had some of that too. But I do think Georgia didn't just kind of, call every trick play they had or anything like that. And again, I'm not taking away from Bama's win. I think Bama won that game, and I think they were the best team.
It's hard to go into Tuscaloosa and beat Bama.
Yeah, doesn't matter who you are.
Period.
Yeah. And the fact that Georgia got 28 down and really and truly was one play away from winning the football game, that says a lot. To me, the story with Georgia right now is the lack of a consistent running game. It's all on Carson Beck. I mean, if he's not making the play's not getting made, and that's not the way Georgia's built. But they've got a couple of running backs that are hurt. They've got their top offensive lineman that's hurt. So hopefully, I think you're right. I think the ceiling probably for Georgia
that's a good way to say
is a little bit higher than it would be for Alabama, because Alabama's Milroe. I mean, it all revolves around him one way or the other.
And that's, as I've said before, and it's not just about Milroe, and I know it's frustrating for Dog fans, but FSU fans, if a running quarterback, like, they unleash them on those big games, right?
Yeah, man.
Well, when they get dinged up and they're playing South Florida, the offense looks different.
Yep.
So it looks like you're saying Georgia's ceiling is higher. So any other thoughts on that game? I mean, I do think you got Auburn, so you don't. I think you're okay. Obviously.
Well, just credit to Alabama though, because the game plan they had coming in, and you heard Kirby say it when he was going into the half. They did some stuff we weren't expecting them to do. And Milroe played a fantastic first half. I mean, he couldn't play any better. And Georgia didn't play very well. But the fact, again, and I think Jim nailed it, you go into Tuscaloosa against a good Alabama team and you get down 4 touchdowns and you're literally a play away from winning that game. I think a light bulb kind of came on in that second half for the defense and the offense for Georgia. Hopefully, again, it'll continue. But I do think, again, between the two, the ceiling's probably a little higher for Georgia than Alabama.
And I think in the modern day, you're going to see this a lot where a team can really scheme it up, and credit to Bama to really scheme up some touchdowns. And again, the talent kind of will catch up to you a little bit. I think that's going to be very common with explosive offenses.
Well, there was a key play early in the game where Carson Beck tried to hit Arian Smith on a long pass, and it was the best pass that Carson Beck has thrown this year. and it went right through Arian Smith's hands down at about the 15-yard line. And from that point on, it almost felt like Beck, again, it was between his ear holes. But then, gradually, consistently, kind of got over it and got back in it. But again, good game from Bama. Georgia acquitted themselves well, and now we'll see where it goes from here. A lot of football to be played between everybody.
You're still kind of in line for the playoffs.
Yeah, no doubt, no question.
All right, so speaking of high ceiling, we have yes, no.
Ooh.
So a lot of interesting things to talk about. So we're going to kind of go through these fast. We miss Michael Best and his extreme wit on these, but we'll try to.
We should have had some Harvest mix here, just
yeah.
So when he sees it,
as a tribute.
That was
Oh, he'd got mad at us.
Yeah, we could have been eating. We could have been eating candy corn the whole time. But all right.
Or pumpkins.
All right, Randy Young. Everyone knows that Bama wide receiver Ryan Williams is 17 years old.
No.
They don't know.
No, not everybody.
Okay, because I've heard it a million times. I've heard it a million times.
Well, I say no, and that's only because a lot of the Georgia fans were saying, I can't believe this guy's only 17 years old.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. They did repeat it a couple of times.
Buckeyes have one that just turned 18, J.J. Smith.
Really?
And he's probably way better than that kid.
Okay, that's scary.
Right.
He made two big catches with one hand.
I saw that. I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Well, the ESPN broadcast really like to bring that Ryan Williams.
Well, we muted him after a while. We were
Yeah.
tired of hearing about it, so we muted him.
All right, so Clemson is the best team in the ACC, Jim.
No.
You think Miami?
Miami will beat them.
Miami will get them. I say it's Clemson.
Golly, I trend with Jim on this one, but again, Clemson is getting better and better and better and better, and I don't know that Miami is. I mean, they may have.
Miami was they got the call there on that.
Yeah.
On the last play of the game.
Virginia Tech can put some games together.
Not this. I mean, that's
Well,
not
they
a good
did.
Virginia Tech team this year. I mean, normally you are correct that they are kind of a solid team, but they have not really been that.
But
they
on
really
any
showed up
given
against-
Saturday.
yes, that's true.
Yep.
That's true.
Ask Ole Miss.
Yep.
I know. Let's
Yeah.
talk about that. Hey, so the quarterback for Florida State doesn't matter, Randy.
No.
You say
I
it doesn't
mean,
matter?
yes, it
You
does.
say yes, it
it
matters.
does matter.
You say
Absolutely,
it matters.
matters.
I say it doesn't matter. We got a lot more things to work on. What do you say?
After listening to you, I'm trending that it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm trending that way.
All right.
But you got to do something.
Yeah,
And that's where it
and
starts.
that,
But
to me, that's where I do think he will start. Brock Glenn will start a game.
Before
or
it's over.
maybe he likes scrumming it. Maybe he's trying to give him time as well. So
I wouldn't put no freshman out there without line in
you
front
got a
of him.
point too. That's true.
and again, it's not that the line. The frustrating thing is there's some good players. They're just not communicating and doing things like that. So
Just not
that's
much
the frustrating
teamwork.
part.
Not much
So,
teamwork.
all right, so you guys know that Ryan Williams is 17 years old, right?
Right.
Okay, just making sure. My favorite player is Charlie Ward Jr. He's number 17. Did you know that Ryan Williams is 17 years old?
You know what? As a matter of fact, yes, I do know that now.
Okay, you know that. Okay, all right.
If I didn't, I know it now.
Okay, I
This
just
is
make
darn
sure.
true.
I just make sure we got it. Just making
Golly.
sure we got it.
What are you saying? Are you saying he's 17? Is
Yeah,
that
I'm
just
just
trying to
saying
get to the
he's-
point here?
Why don't they put 17? Is his number
His
17?
number,
should
his
be
number
17.
2. He's number 2.
He should be
I
number
looked that up.
17.
I
That makes
did look
sense.
that up.
That makes sense.
All right, this one's a little bit mean, Georgia fans. I'm sorry.
here
Here we go, Jim.
Don't look at me. I'm not a
Here we
Georgia
go.
fan.
All right, he's
Well,
going
you
to let
may
you
enjoy that
first.
one. All right, Carson Beck would give up his Lamborghini to beat Bama.
I think so, because if he could beat Bama, Kirby would give him another one.
Oh, there we go. All
Or
right.
somebody would.
Somebody would. Somebody would.
Yeah.
He's a team player. I give on to him. He's a team guy.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, but he would though.
All right, Randy. People still think Ole Miss is a great team. They lost to Kentucky.
I think they are a good team. I'm not going to
They're
say
not
great.
great.
Team. Yeah.
People still think that Ole Miss is a great team.
I don't think Lane Kiffin's a great coach, and I don't think that team's a great team.
Yeah, I think they're good. They're dangerous.
They're
not
dangerous.
But
Great.
they're not great.
They can put a game together, but
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And
if
again,
you hit them in the mouth enough, you get them.
yeah,
And that's exactly what Kentucky did too.
yeah. And Kentucky is kind of one of the weirdest teams out there. But
Bipolar, man.
this is the get used to this college football.
You're
fans.
right. No, you're right.
All right, last question. Here we go. In 17 years, Bama fans will proclaim the very act of Ryan Williams' catch. In 17 years, they're going to proclaim that catch as a national title. They're going to add it to their total of national titles, Randy.
Are you saying they're going to retire his number even though it's not 17? Is that
yeah,
what you're saying?
yeah.
Yes.
They'll claim it as a national title. Ryan Williams catch.
I didn't see it. I just had to go by y'all. I'd say yes.
Anyway.
So he's 17. Is that what you're
yes,
saying? Okay.
You know, I
making
just
sure.
want to make
Has
sure.
anybody checked his birth certificate?
Got a point. Got a point.
All right. Y'all enjoy. We'll see you next time on the Press Box.